Welcome to our yoga practice today. We are going to be practicing just from lying down today, so all on the back of the body. I've placed a yoga mat out and I placed a blanket down on top of that yoga mat. That is optional. If you want to grab yourself a blanket, please do. What we will need for today's practice is a strap. So if you don't have a yoga specific strap, does not matter. A tie, a belt, a scarf, or a rolled up towel will do just fine. If you need a moment to go grab those, please go grab them. And then that caveat always when we're working with anything that might cause pain to the lower back, please do listen to your body. If it feels really overwhelming or if there's any kind of sharp nerve-like pain, please do come back out of what it is we're doing or find a slightly different adaptation, and I will guide us through some of those as we move today. We're going to begin on the back of the body. So just allow yourself to come down to the back of the body in any kind of way. As you land, you might have the strap somewhere beside you, so that's within reaching distance. If you want support for your head, you could have grabbed yourself a pillow. Feel free to pop up and grab one if you do want one. But we might start with the feet to the mat, the knees to the sky, and no particular way. Just see if you can find a place of relative comfort on the back of your body, and you can let your hands land to the torso or out to the side here. We're going to begin with a focusing in on the breath. So from here together, let's take 5 breaths in and out, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's begin together, inhaling here through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathing in, a slow breath out. Perhaps taking one more of those, a breath in and out. Now you're really welcome to let the breath just find its own rhythm from here, or you can look to find a slow inhale through the nose and a slow exhale through the nose as well. We're going to start by just bringing our awareness to the space around the lower back, maybe around the back of the pelvis and the front of the pelvis, and just noticing how that area feels today. Maybe notice how much arch there is or how little arch there is away from the ground in your lower back. Almost as just a point of reference at the beginning of our practice. From here, we'll take a gentle sway of the knees side to side, and this movement does not have to be big at all. There is space for you to take the knees wider if you want to. You're really welcome to explore that here. But just taking some of these simple movements left and right. Maybe one more on each side. And then again, coming back through to center here. We're going to do a range of movements here on the lower back, but to begin with, can we simply push into the right sole of the foot or right foot and lift the left leg to the sky? Now, you are really welcome to have a bend in this left knee. It does not have to be fully straight. You might play around with a few circles with the ankle or just point and flex the toe a few times here. And then see if you can find a point of stillness with a bit of push down through the right foot and a bit of push down through the back of the left pelvis, or the left edge of the pelvis even. You can always adjust where the leg is to suit you today. But taking 3 slow, steady breaths here. So breathing in together and breathing out through the nose. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. One more of those at your own pace. And then from here, we want to reach for our strap or whatever prop that we are using and take our strap around the ball of the foot. So you'll need to bring the foot closer to you, hooking it around the ball of the foot rather than the heel of the foot. And I've taken the strap, one in each hand. You can hold that however you need to here. But see if you can find a bit of tension on the strap to ideally bring the leg a little closer. And again, doesn't have to have a straight leg. You can have a bend through the knee. Some of you might have a straight leg here. And again, this just depends on so many different things. But can we again find a tension on the strap and take 3 slow, steady breaths. See if you can find those 3 slow, steady breaths at your own pace this time. And then you can stay here in this position, or we can experiment with taking the right foot further away. And it might be that you pause somewhere along the way. It might be that you send the right leg out long here, so the foot is on the ground and the leg is long away from you here. It might change the position of the leg that's in the sky slightly. Taking 3 rounds of breath here. And remembering that here is just as great a place. Does not have to be fully extended out with the leg. One more round of breath here. And then if you do have the right leg out long, let's bring the sole of the right foot to the mat, so the knee is to sky. We're going to unhook our foot and bring the left ankle over the right knee here. So it's our reclined figure 4. Now option 1, you're going to simply take a gentle rock side to side here. And you can continue that rock as much as you need. Option 2, to find stillness in the center. And option 3, to draw the right thigh towards you, and that might mean taking hold of the thigh or the ankle or the knee. If you are taking that option, try and keep the head and the shoulders down on the mat here. So trying to find still a long spine. And then just a note here that sometimes less is more, so you might keep the foot down. 3 rounds of breath in whichever one you've chosen. And maybe it's a bit of one and then a bit of the other. One more round of breath here. And then slowly release the left foot down to the ground. We're going to do the same to the other side straight away. So pushing to the sole of your left foot, taking the right leg to the sky. And then again, find a place where you're pulling the toe back up of the right foot. The left foot is pushing down and the right edge of the pelvis is pushing down into the ground here. So there's a bit of kind of like asymmetrical push down. Breathing here for 3 rounds of breath. Great. And then we're going to find our strap again and take hold of the ball of the foot. So we're looping the foot into the strap, holding on to that shape. And then again, attention on the strap. So the strap is pulling towards you. It's almost as if you're trying to pull the leg all the way back towards the pelvis here, or towards the torso slightly. And breathing 3 rounds of breath here as well. Remembering that the leg does not have to be fully straight. And then you have the option to stay here, or again, we're going to shuffle the left foot away from you, and maybe it goes a little way, maybe the leg goes long on your mat. Taking those 3 rounds of breath here as well. Breath in and out. One more round of breath here. And then if you did take the left leg along the mat, bring the foot back, unhooking your strap and taking your right ankle over your left knee this time. So we're in our reclined figure 4 on the other side. And again, you can stay still just as you've landed. You can take a gentle rock left and right here, or you can play with bringing the left thigh towards you and holding onto it, or holding onto the knee here. Whichever variation you would like to take for your 3 rounds of breath. One more round of breath here. And then we're going to release the right foot down to the ground. See if you can just take a moment to pause here and notice any residual sensations again around the pelvis and around the lower back. If stillness is okay for a moment, find stillness. If you need a gentle rock side to side, take a rock. Finding those slow, steady breaths here again. We're going to take a few bridge poses. So we want our heels to be quite close towards the glutes, the feet the distance of the pelvis apart, the same with the knees here. And then you could absolutely have the hands on the front of the pelvis if that helps, particularly to kind of focus on the movement. Or you might take the hands alongside the pelvis, so down, palms pushing into your mat. I'm going to tuck the tailbone under here, squeeze the glutes, and then imagine, rather than trying to lift the pelvis up really high, imagine that you're trying to send the knees forwards and away from you. And then as you do, the pelvis lifts up at the same time. And again, it does not matter how high you lift up here. If the knees have splayed out left and right, see if you can have them still kind of towards each other, or at least thighs parallel on the inside. And then slowly drawing the pelvis back down. We're going to do that twice more, but with the flow of breath. So on the inhale, can you tuck the tailbone, push the knees away, lifting the pelvis up. And on the exhale, lowering the pelvis down towards the ground. One more time like this. Inhale, lifting the pelvis up. Exhale, lowering down. On the next one, we're going to hold at the top. So lifting the pelvis up here, and then squeezing the glutes, pushing the knees forwards, still breathing. So if you're holding your breath, please do breathe. One more round of breath here. And then slowly let the pelvis land, and again take a gentle sway left and right of those knees. Fab. We're going to try and find a bit of releasing for the lower back here. We'll take some twists first, and then we're going to take some kind of rocking movement with the pelvis here. So bringing your knees towards you, and you can hold onto them on the front of your knees, or you can wrap your arms around yourself here. Take a gentle rock left and right. Wonderful. And then we're going to take the knees over to the right here, and the knees come over. It might be that they land, it might be that they don't. Don't worry so much about what's happening with the upper torso here. So if the left side of your torso lifts a bit because the twist is quite strong today, allow that to happen. That's totally fine for today. Breathing here. Hands could have landed on the torso like I have. You can take them out wide in a T shape if you prefer. And then we're going to gently come back to center. I'm going to need to shuffle over a bit to give myself more space. Bringing the knees to chest and then taking them to the left this time. And again, feel free to adjust the legs however you need to. Hands can land on the pelvis or out wide here. You might be looking to the ceiling, or if it feels okay with the neck, looking away from the knees. a few rounds of breath here as well. And then coming back through to center, we're going to find, or I mentioned, a kind of rocking movement with the pelvis. We're going to take that rocking movement and then we'll come towards a bit of rest here. So you want the feet to be similar to how we had our bridge pose. Maybe find a bit more comfort. So if the heels want to be a bit further away, totally fine. Knees to sky. And we're going to take our hands to the front of the pelvis this time. So the first thing we're going to do is try and tilt the pelvis forwards and backwards. So it's this kind of movement that I'm making with the hands. One side lifts and then the other side lifts. And we'll do that together here and I'll talk it through. So see if you can start to tuck your tailbone, squeeze your glutes as if you're about to lift into the bridge, but we don't lift the pelvis off the ground here. It stays in contact. And then we're going to almost do the opposite, where you're pushing the tailbone area down into your mat and lifting the lower back away from your mat, so that arch of the lower back increases. And then really slowly repeating that movement. So the tailbone tucks, you're squeezing the glutes. And then the opposite, the tailbone pushes down, we're lifting the lower back. And then keeping that movement going here. And you can start to add breath in with the movement if you would like to. So it's an inhale to tuck the tailbone under. And an exhale to draw the lower back up. Twice more, tailbone tucks under, a squeeze of the glutes. And then releasing, lifting the lower back one more time, tucking the tailbone under. And then lifting the lower back. Great. Come back to center. And then the idea now is that we're going to do that same movement but side to side. So as if like you had a plate on the front of your body. The left side lifts and then the right side lifts. Same kind of thing, left and right. And again, you can take your hands to the front of the pelvis, to those kind of bony landmarks if it helps. And then see if you can, again, keep the pelvis in contact with the mat, but lift the left side up a bit. Right side is pushing down. And then lifting the right side as you push the left side down. And see if the focus can be on the pelvis, so left side lifts, right side down, less on the knees. Left side down, right side lifts. So you're trying to keep the knees fairly steady as you keep that tilt of the pelvis moving. So right side up, left side down, left side up, right side down. One more on each side, because then we're going to string the two of them together. And then coming back to center. So the idea is we're taking a full circle. If you have, like a spinning plate on a stick, but much, much slower than a spinning plate, I'm going to take that full circle around. And I'll guide it through like 3 rounds, but then see if you can continue the circle another 3 times. So we're going to start with a tuck of the tailbone, a squeeze of the glutes. And then we're lifting the left edge of the pelvis. And then we're lifting the lower back, the right edge of the pelvis, and then the tailbone. And the left edge lifts, lower back lifts, right edge lifts, tailbone tucks, left edge lifts, lower back lifts, right edge lifts, tailbone lifts. And then see if you can take that circle here twice more, or 3 times more even. See if the circle can become much more like a smooth movement around rather than from one to the other, to the other. Let's add one more in. Great. And then the idea is that we reverse that movement here. So from here, the left edge lifts, and then the tailbone lifts, and then the right edge. And then keeping that circle going in the opposite direction, moving around. So right edge lifts, and tailbone lifts, and left edge lifts, and then lower back lifts. And then it keeps going, maybe 3 more times. If you're going quite quickly, see if you can slow the movement down. One more of these circles. And then coming back to stillness. Maybe there's a gentle sway of the knees first. Left and right. Fab. You can stay here for a moment or see how it feels to let the legs go long. If it starts to really tug at your lower back, bring the feet back to the mat and knees to sky. Or if it feels okay here, take the arms up and over and just take a moment to find a full body stretch. Feel that sense of length all the way down the front of the body. Breath in and out here. And then for our rest today, we're going to find a position called constructive rest. And it's a position we've been to a few times today, but with a few more nuanced details. So when you bring the feet to the mat, start with the feet the width of the pelvis and the knees the width of the pelvis. And then we're trying to rock the knees towards each other so they almost touch, but not quite. Imagine like how a magnet repels the wrong side ever so slightly and there's like that thin gap. If it helps, feel free to adjust your feet. You can take the knees of the feet even out slightly, just to find the place of least effort, the place where it feels like your legs don't have to do anything to hold you in that space. Wriggle as much as you need until you find it. Let your hands rest somewhere. I'm going to still rest my hands on the torso. And then taking 5 slow, steady breaths here, but at your own pace. Maybe your eyes even close for a moment. And then let's take a few deeper breaths together just to close. So breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, and a sigh through the mouth. We will close our practice there for today. Thank you for joining. I'll see you again soon.